Yeah,
Too late. Too
You
late.
just texted that to the group. I don't want those two words.
yeah. I will delete. I will just delete the message.
Listen, you'll
Yeah.
delete it, but it's always there, my friends. It's always there.
It's in your heart, clearly.
You know what else is in my heart?
Oh yeah,
Anger.
I'm definitely,
Okay.
I'm definitely going to delete that.
Okay, wait. Poorly Made Podcast, episode 15. Welcome back. It's been a minute. Mike is going to talk about why he's angry, besides the fact that he's just a white man. But
Are you angry? Oh, was I not supposed to go yet?
Please, it's all yours.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, is it me? Is it COVID? Is it the situation that we're all in? Who else is angry? Because I'm angry. I don't know. I'm angry about stupid things. I feel like it's probably like I need therapy. You guys know that I need therapy, and I've had my run-ins, but I just feel like sometimes like when I would approach a situation differently, and I'm like wondering like if this is just this whole situation, like it's just accelerating towards I don't even know where, like a black hole, and we're just it's just a layer on top of layer and layer, and then oh, he's winning the election, but oh, he's ba ba ba, and then he's just like, oh, I can't. And so anyway, short story, I was going into my local bakery. This is
For
it's
donuts?
just going back to it's just going back to pastries. And there's this old lady helping me. I was concerned right off the bat. She's got an incision down the side of her head, like a sewn up like scar, like fresh scar. And I'm like, oh God, like here we go. Like all I want is a couple of fucking chocolate babkas and bagels. And I'm asking her for everything bagel. She's picking out poppy. I'm like, no, no, sweetie, like that's a poppy. Like I want an everything. And she's like trying to ring me up. She's marking things at like $200. I'm like, what is going on with this woman? She asks for help. This bakery is like the Walking Dead's working there all the time, and there's this kid in the back, like this like skinny, like maybe like 14, 15-year-old kid standing around literally like staring at a wall. Like I don't know what he's doing. He's not ruffling papers, he's not checking off list items, he's not doing anything, he's not baking. Yeah,
Not turning pages, not even looking busy.
He was just pivoting. Like, and she calls out to him, she's like, oh, Robert, can you help me? And he's like, yeah. And he just like kind of keeps pivoting, and she keeps doing her thing, and she kind of gets it, and she's like, oh, I got it. And she doesn't get it. I'm standing there for like 6-7 minutes. I only ordered like 3 things, and I'm the only one in the store. And I get fed up. It crashes down on me because I want my cream cheese. I want my vegetable cream cheese, and I want my bagels. So I walk to the back of the counter. It's like the counter, and then you go in the back. I walk to the end. I walk towards the kid.
And you beat up the old lady.
No, I didn't beat it. I thought about
the kid.
I go a little bit past the counter, and I said to the kid, I was like, are you gonna help this lady? I was like, she asked you for help. It was just so I was like, I've been here for 5 minutes, man. Like what's going on? Like, can't you help her? Like, and he comes over and he's like helping her, and he doesn't really say anything to me. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry for the wait. I'm like, it's okay. Like, just like help each other out. Like, so this was just one of those examples that I feel like just like coronavirus, is this me? Is this me, or is this like this a product of the situation?
I feel like you had a male Karen moment. I don't know what we call that, a Ken moment. Kevin.
I mean, do you guys have these moments?
Isn't it Kevin?
I don't know.
Neil?
Okay, first of all, Neil. First of all, this has nothing to do with coronavirus.
Yeah.
Old people are slow and don't know technology.
I wasn't even mad at the old woman.
Yeah, but you were upset with the kid not helping. I'm just saying all the factors that made that situation happen would have happened 10 years ago, would have happened a year ago. Like, that's totally fine. Now, the way that you reacted, would I have stormed
Hilarious.
behind the cash register? Yeah, it's pretty funny. But, oh, wait, we just have to say it real quick. Upset Mike, hilarious.
Why?
I just want to talk about. I want to talk about Atlantic City real quick. We don't have to spend much time on it. But it's Kamal's birthday extravaganza weekend, right?
No, God.
We're in Atlantic City. We're waiting online to get into this like club type situation.
Of course.
AC, right? We're waiting online. We're supposed to have like a hookup to get in there, I think, or have maybe cheaper prices or something like that. But it didn't work out because we didn't get there on time. It was a whole thing, and everyone's kind of in a mood, right?
Oh, particularly me. I was
come on,
pissed.
yeah, because everyone was kind of just being a dick that day.
Yeah.
So we get to the front of the line, right? And we're like,
I forgot. It's such a good story.
so we get to the front of the line, and the guy, I don't remember how much it cost. It was like $20 a person, and there's what, like 8 of us or something.
It was like
that.
a total of like $450.
It was
basically
it
the
was
price
more
of
than
an
that.
iPhone 12. At that moment, it might have been the price of an iPhone 12. So we get up there, and Mike is like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe that this is the price that we have to pay. But you know what? I'm here for Kamal's birthday, and I'm gonna pay it. Let's go. I'm gonna take the hit and pay for everybody to get it. And Mike, the Apple slut that he is, he gets the Apple Watch ready, and he's like, "Come on, ring me up! Like, I'm ready to go. Charge it.
Ring me up
through the phone." And the guy's like, "It's cash only."
He was like, "What is this?"
It's like rough. Like, you could see like the smoke coming out his ears, like the fire in his belly, right? And this is the funniest part. So he looked at his watch and is like, "What? Like, what year is it?" He looked at the watch and it's like, "You don't take Apple Pay in the year of our Lord 18?" Like,
Yeah.
he was so upset that he didn't take Apple Pay. And I was like, "Oh, he's going to kill this man." He's that upset.
Well, it's because those guys, they were just so smug. Like, they were
like all
cash
Apple.
only. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How do you expect someone who carries around $400 in cash?
Like, mind you, I had cash to get in. It was just, I think Mike was the only one who like didn't have enough
like
cash.
Oh, you mean to pay? I don't think I had the cash.
You didn't?
Usually don't even carry cash like that. I mean, I feel like if we all had enough cash, we would have just all chipped in.
I would have, yeah, exactly. I still would have been as furious because I would have been like, "Where were you getting these numbers? Out of thin air."
Okay, so
that was just an anger-inducing weekend.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. You know, that trip I had a very nice.
Definitely angry.
I had a nice conversation with a man outside of a Friendly's that night. Or that trip, I should say.
Was it a homeless guy?
It was a homeless man.
I vaguely remember.
Was it Friendly's or was it Denny's?
It was
Denny's.
I don't remember.
I prefer Friendly's, and I would have been a lot happier if it was a Friendly's.
Yeah.
It was definitely it was a Denny's. Somebody ordered something ridiculous. I remember, and I was like, "Bro, just order like some bacon and eggs. Like, come on."
I think Kamal got like some really fancy pancakes or something.
Yeah, of course.
Like, can you do the Mickey Mouse shape? Yeah, I just I don't know.
To make the voice while you serve it.
Oh boy!
Oh boy! Here you
go. Okay, so wait a minute. Let's get back on track. So I think I was really angry at work on Sunday. And I don't think it's necessarily a COVID thing because this would have happened, again, like at any time. But the fact that it was COVID kind of made me more angry.
Right. Like, isn't it like it's adding to it?
I think that's a fair thing. Like, the COVID situation is definitely making me more upset because it makes me question why people do things the way that they do, like in this time. So, like, I love dogs, right? But one of my biggest pet peeves is when people bring their dogs into public spaces, especially busy, crowded public spaces, and just kind of are very casual and loose with their dogs. So like for me, I don't have an issue with that because I like dogs. I'm not afraid of dogs. I'm not allergic to dogs, anything like that. When you bring your dog into a public space, you can't just assume that everyone else is also comfortable with dogs, especially if you're not keeping your dog on a short leash, you're letting your dog like roam around, or you're not really paying attention to like your dog sniffing people. Like that's not okay. So on Sunday, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but everybody and their dog was in my store. And it was just like it sounded like I was in a kennel because there was just dogs yapping at each other and like none of the owners were doing anything about it. Besides the fact that I've cleaned up shit 2 times, dog shit 2 times in the store already, I would much rather have done that than go through the hour with just dogs barking and sniffing and like laying on the floor and I'm like stepping over dogs. I'm like, oh, excuse me, dog. Like I don't want to step on you while I'm carrying these clothes. You know, like it was just ridiculous. And I was getting so upset because one, I hate that the store is just filled with dogs. And then,
Where are all these dogs coming from?
I just couldn't understand. Like, it's never been. I've been in the store.
Is this
like
not a place of retail? Jesus.
I've been in the store where there's one dog at a time. I've been in stores where there's maybe 2 dogs at a time. But no exaggeration, there was like 5 or 6 dogs all at once, and like they were like coming and going. It was like, why are there so many dogs for an hour? Like. And some dogs are leaving, but then other dogs are coming in. Like,
some of the dogs are on the floor.
I think it was a prank by like a disgruntled
the
employee.
ASPCA.
Like, listen, if you said that to me, I would be like, you know what? It makes sense. I get it.
A disgruntled employee was like, "Yo, let's fuck with Kavon."
I was at a picking up food at this restaurant in what was it in Beacon, which I don't know. You guys don't really probably know where Beacon is, but
we go to Beacon.
It's far.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was at yeah, it's far, exactly. It's dumb far.
Dumb far.
I was at the place that you guys went to. It's a new restaurant now, and they have like outdoor seating, of course, now. People bring their dogs like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, why? Like, why you gotta bring your dog to a restaurant? They bring them everywhere. And then the dog starts sniffing me while I'm like ordering my food. And the girl's like, oh, Chantel, you're supposed to ask permission before you sniff people. And I'm just like,
Chantel.
What?
Let's talk about that.
I made that name up.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a good dog name.
Incredible dog name. I just don't get it. I think it's inconsiderate. And again, as a person who loves dogs, I
love dogs
I like
too.
them. But like I'm not the only person that works there. Like I know that not everyone is okay with dogs. So it just bothers me when you bring it. Like I work here, I can't escape. Like you're bringing your dog here. Like you could have left your dog at home.
I'm in a kennel right now.
Right. It's just like I didn't sign up for this, and I was upset. So that's why I was angry.
Well,
Kamal, why are you mad?
2 things.
Kamal's
Two things.
Oh, just being a black man in America don't make me mad.
First thing,
enough to make me mad all the time.
First thing, I don't sound like that.
Yeah, great. Joe Biden's gonna be president. Call me when you change things.
Well, first thing, why is it that's the way I sound to you guys?
That's not your voice. That's just the empowered
angry black guy. The empowered angry black man.
Yeah, and I can't do that voice, so I have to do a weird inflection.
So, one thing I think it's more that you guys just have bad relationships with dogs because that seems to be going on thing. Or Mike, you just need to stop ordering food outside because that seems to be the coinciding thing.
That's what starts
you need to just eat at home. Get your food at a restaurant, a supermarket, and just go home. None of these stores, none of these restaurants, none of these shops.
Listen, I try.
Supermarket and home. But yeah, I don't know if I've have some hidden underlying anger that's been ignited or anything like that. I think the only thing I've noticed is that
you're so well adjusted. No, I'm just kidding.
I try to be
even keel all the time.
Come on, you can't shake him.
Nothing gets under his skin.
The head nodding is.
I don't even know where that came from.
I don't know either. What kind of sass? I don't know if I've ever shown that kind of sassiness in my life, but like I have noticed that like I think the most frustrating thing in my life right now is just trying to like operate and move around in this space, this COVID scared world now, and like just having to deal with people who just like just can't do the bare minimum. Like I can't tell you how many times I wanted to like punch people on like trains or public transportation
I knew it.
where,
I knew
where
it.
they'll be like they'll have the mask on and it'll be like just under their nose and I'll be like defeats the whole purpose. I really want to there's so many times I want to say something. There's like been numerous times I've wanted to uppercut people. Um
No
but
specific punch.
oh yeah, for
Southpaw.
sure.
Right.
For sure, because I want to get like
I like
in
how
like
Kamal's two modes are like say something, uppercut. No in between.
No spitting, no yelling.
nah, that's not effective enough. You just got to hit them with the Hiryoken
You
and
can.
just
It was like
and
that
just
for me the other day on Metro North.
it's just
The guy was just he had no mask on the train, and I was like, "Did you not hear all the messages that say you'll get kicked off? Like if you don't have a mask on."
but that's the thing though. Like the funniest thing is that like people who are like anti-maskers will like complain about like these mandates and the mask stuff like that. Yo, I can't tell you how many stores, restaurants, and like public transportation I see where they're like no mask, no service, and I'll see people in these stores or in this space with no mask, mask under their nose, mask under their chin, and I'm just like, it's not at least in New York or yeah, at least in New York and the Bronx, it's not enforced to the extent where like in even though it's taken serious, it's still not taken as seriously as it needs to be. Like you have their sign up saying no mask, no service, and like see like three people in here who deserve uppercuts right now, and
About to get knuckle sandwich for lunch.
and that's just and so like I don't know. That's the only thing for me really. Like I generally like aside from that, like I mean anger is not a thing. I guess it's more like annoyance and like it's annoying that you have to like worry about.
Irritation.
Yeah, like you're like this convenience to like this extent, and just like, but like, but you realize that like any amount of annoyance beats uh, an early grave. To make things, not to make things too dark,
That,
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I just that food part too. Just a quick question for you guys. I see a couple. I follow a couple on Instagram that does like like the food things and trying out different restaurants. Like they have the mask on, they take it off. First of all, they wear it under their chin while they eat, which I think is like absurd. Like okay, we get it. Like you have a mask, fucking take it off though while you're eating. But I just want to ask, like, do
Nah,
you think it's like
they want the quick change. So like, if they like, they could sense the COVID droplets approaching them, they could just go, see,
whoop?
we got
That guy
oh, you
looks like he's
thought
got it.
I
Ugh.
thought it was so
almost
that they
got
could
me.
like catch the crumbs in their mask. And save it.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
a
they are
puzzle.
related.
they are they are food connoisseurs. No, my question is just like, is it still inappropriate right now though to like they like he posts like a video like every other day of them like going somewhere else to eat. Okay, like okay, they're eating outside, whatever, but like should they be doing that? Like should they just be going all over the place
I
eating
mean,
like
I mean, like,
normal?
I mean, like whole point is that like it's allowed, but like it's probably not the best. Like it's probably not a smart idea. You are probably risking exposure by like because like
Or
even though that,
exposing other people if you
yeah,
know
or just yeah, risking exposure, exposing other people by like because like let's be honest, the outdoor seating is not really that effective at like mitigating like I don't know for some reason there seems to there's like the narrative and I don't even know what the public health officials how they framed it that like somehow like being out eating out on the sidewalk and like having the air like blow between you guys
well
will
there's more
somehow
there's more circulation, right?
yeah
Like if you're indoors, you need artificial circulation. But
I
if it's not
guess
windy, like it's just sitting there, like that
yeah I'm not sure that like outdoor eating automatically like eliminates it. So like yeah, you probably shouldn't be like going out all the time to do that. Like if you should probably reduce your exposure outside in general.
Stay
Right.
local. You know,
Yeah,
you like one pizza place, you like one Chinese food place, like get like that. I get it. Like you got to eat out
yeah,
sometimes, but like
or even just if you have that much money to go out and eat constantly, just spend the extra money and get gypped and spend extra money on like the delivery apps. Like pay your $20 for a slice of
yeah,
pizza from
Real
Grubhub
quick,
or whatever.
because we are running out of time, we should wrap up on this. I think that word that you just used is offensive. I just want to say
Oh,
that
it
on
is.
air.
I was
Yes.
gonna say that. Yeah,
So let's just, just
Oh,
saying.
oh, so
just
that's a
clean it up there, Kamal.
So now we're going to
PC
transition.
it, okay?
Okay.
PC it. You can't
Are
say
we going
that.
to
Cancel
transition
culture.
into, I mean, this is just a natural progression now. I feel like we have to go into the Twitch
we
thing.
have to we have to. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, Kamal, go ahead.
All right. All
Because
right.
now you're
So
canceled, essentially.
apparently because I'm uh person who is responsible for this themselves. I know something I wanted to bring up was I've noticed like these, I don't know what I would call these instances of like toxic, I don't know, virtue signaling, toxic progressivism, liberalism, whatever you want to call it. So one story I saw just randomly on,
Snowflakery.
yeah, snowflakery, one of those things, or maybe I'm just an enormous bigot. It's possible. Uh,
It's
one
a
thing,
little bit.
At least you don't get angry.
a little big bigot, a little bigot. Um, but one thing I saw was that Twitch is bland is if anybody doesn't know, Twitch is like multi-billion-dollar streaming service where regular people can create their own channels and stream to the public, yada yada. They are banning and it's usually for like
Great summation.
discussions and gaming,
Video games. Yeah.
video games, and maybe like movie reviews and reactions. I think.
Mhm.
But largely, they have recently banned the term "blind" in relation to like tags and labels for like video game playthrough and stuff like that, because they have deemed it ableist, or
Mhm.
they people have they have determined that the term blind playthrough, which is usually a term used for describing someone playing a game for the first time without any like previous knowledge of like how the game works or playing it before.
On does that
Um,
with movie trailers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically like
You
reactions stuff
know,
like that.
I
Like
go into okay. So wait, actually, that's a pretty good question. So should I not say that I like going into movies blind?
yeah, that's what they're saying.
So that's
So
an
basically,
ableist saying.
well, Twitch has decided that blind in relation to video game, a term used for video game uh, streaming is ableist. And I personally think that's insane. Oh, excuse me. That's
Mentally unwell.
it just rolls off the tongue.
Wait, so does that mean I can't say the blind leading the blind anymore?
No, you can't.
That's like my go-to phrase.
You can't. We're not allowed. We're not allowed. So apparently,
Look at these turkeys over here. It's like the blind leading the blind.
can't say that. That's so. So that is ridiculous. In my opinion, that's ridiculous. Apparently, the defense of this change in policy is because blind is used um is usually in association with negative things, um and they're trying to be I guess more, what's the word for it,
Like I
uh
guess politically correct or accepting or
yeah,
neutral or
yeah, they're trying to be more inclusive,
aware. Yeah,
inclu-
inclusive. Yeah,
inclusive and non ostracizing of
certain
people with,
communities.
Well,
yes, communities with disabilities. But my whole thinking is like I feel like you're trying way too hard, and this is more of this like performative, like progressivism that I hate, because like for one, it actually doesn't apply, because like I heard a comparison is with the word gay, because like previously during a different time
Right.
Gay was
Especially in
often
the gaming community.
well,
That
yeah, I'm
word
sure
thrown
that's
around a
for
lot.
sure. But I think in just general public discourse, gay was a term that was often used to describe something as lame or bad or negative. So I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but this doesn't work in this situation because, like the in terms of blind playthrough, blind reaction, going in blind,
Mhm.
blindsided. These are not terms describing blind as being negative. These are all terms in which you're describing a scenario of like a lack
Not
of
having sight.
having no sight or no
Yeah, but then you could.
pre exposure. So that's not it's not describing something negative. It's like kind of applying the actual definition of blind to certain scenarios that would fit that.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
my two things are you're saying the performative progressivism of it, right? Like I remember learning about uh I don't want to get into it, but basically learning about like the uses of words themselves and in that sense, like the performative use, like the meaning that you um drive upon your words is based in like the kind of like context of them.
Hmm.
And so if you were gonna say something, and I'm just gonna go off of there's a lot of examples like you said, but I'm gonna go off of the blind what is it called? Blind playthrough.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um like for a blind person that's not a blind playthrough then like as you mean it with lack of sight, so like they're
Well,
saying I think is
lack of
like,
lack of foresight or
well no, but it would be lack of like jadedness, like that would
well,
be
not
more of like
jadedness,
like a
but like
descriptor.
see now we're because that's the biggest problem I have is like in this effort to be more inclusive, you're being um
Like how does a blind person do a blind playthrough? Like it's
well
always
that's
blind for them.
well that's the thing. It's not regarding like blind people playing games. It's like words are not like have one strict meaning and only can apply to that one person, like only one type of person. Like words are descriptive and they morph with the society and the context in which they're used. Just like just like you can have the word blind meaning someone who's without sight, or and then someone and also have the word blind meaning someone without previous knowledge or something.
Mhm. But
Like
I would also make the argument that, and I don't know if this is the case, right? If there is a word that we can use, which there are, to replace it, and there are people that are being offended by it, and I mean like legitimately like making valid arguments. I know you're saying that you think it might be a performative thing by Twitch, but like if you came to me and said like there's a group of the blind community at large has an issue with this terminology and they'd like to have it replaced or not existing or whatever, and we have like another word for it, like I'm not gonna get caught up in like
I
the
get it,
word means blah 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 and
but
it
no,
could mean like just like do
but
it
I,
like it
but
doesn't
I no,
matter.
I get it, and like it's funny, like it'd be funny saying that because like I would be someone who would like be for someone like in terms of certain words, like I would understand that, and maybe this is my ableist privilege poking its head, but like I do think even in these circumstances there is context, like for
Mm-hmm.
um and like context and usage matters. Like part of this discussion that I had like wanted to bring up was like the first thing that came to my mind are the N word and the F word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I'm gonna just say it because it fits perfectly. Nigga is a term that black people it's been acceptable is deemed socially acceptable that black people can use this term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that what Caucasians and sometimes non black races are not are it's deemed unacceptable for them to use that term, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we're literally legislating a context in which a slur we're saying usage of this word is okay when black people use it, and but it's unacceptable in the context of a white person using it due to the history of the word used as a slur and a derogatory term toward black people. And so my perspective on it is, so yeah, so there are contexts for everything. So blind, when used to describe something as negative, I can understand that. But blind for a blind playthrough or
Yeah, you're
blind
not seeing the
sight,
negative connotation that's being.
yeah. So I would love if we have any visually impaired
Listeners.
listeners
Yeah.
listeners who
I'm
are
gonna be honest.
interested.
I almost said blind viewers.
Listen, you could you. Well, I mean, it's like you don't call people midgets anymore. You call them short people.
Yeah,
But like
but the thing is,
Little
but
people.
little people
little
or
people,
small people,
yeah.
yeah. But like my whole thing is that like that's
Oh,
Sorry, that's my mistake.
okay. It's
hey
all
there,
right.
short man.
Short man.
And that's the thing. Like so, like, and I think also for one thing, it's fair to like be okay with it, like understanding that like you make those hiccups because it's a part of like the zeitgeist and like the culture, like, and then like you having to correct yourself. I think room for
That's
the
better.
correction,
That's better for our
room,
culture.
yeah, well, room for the correction and allowing people to understand that like, oh, I didn't mean to say this, it slipped out because like we've been using this term this way. It's different though because like I said, it had different contexts. So I just think this is a
I just
weird.
think if you look at that word, my last argument would be if you look at that word, blind is physically without sight. So, like, yeah, you could the only sense it makes sense is in, oh, I haven't seen the game before. But like, really, what you mean is you don't have knowledge of the game,
But
and
like I
you
said,
you don't have to use the word blind contextually.
you don't
You
have
could
to,
use
but like
pure. You could use, like I said, I think jaded or unjaded would work. There's there's better words that I'm just not
doesn't
privy
have the
to. But
same ring to it. But that's like I said, maybe
yeah,
that's
but
just me being
it doesn't have the
accustomed to
same
it.
ring, but it's not offensive.
Well, I mean, and then here goes into the offensive in the eye of the beholder, right? Um, so, but like the
It's in
thing
the
is,
eye of the beholder.
but my whole thing is like
That was him. That was all him.
the whole, so like it's an interesting because like when people say like people in a what a military or tactical scenario would call them, the term blindsided, right? Like it's
But
all
that
about,
literally means an attack from a side that I can't see. Like,
yeah, but you can see, so like
mm,
you
that's
can see.
I was
You
I
just
was I was
you just
peripheral. I was peripherally like disadvantaged.
yeah, you just like exactly you were just weren't aware of like the moment what was happening, or like you were caught by surprise. That doesn't not so like if you want to be strict
Listen.
in it
I
and
think
say
this is a
like
great.
blind
I think this is a great point.
blind
Yeah.
can only mean someone who's physically unable to see, then like I said, words are descriptive and they morph. Like bad means negative, but now like bad also in popular culture is
It's
also a
good.
term. Also, yeah, is also a term used to mean good.
Negative in the medical field is great. I mean,
Exactly,
ask all those COVID people.
exactly. So like that's my thing. Words have context, and like I feel like this. I feel like if anything, I would, if you really wanted to be more an ally to the um
Blind
I
community.
don't know. Yeah, or just like the disabled,
Handicapped.
the impaired, the handicapped, impaired community. See me, I'm trying to watch my words. Then like I would be
That's all
way
that
more.
matters. That's all we want.
I
We
would
just
be
want the
way
effort.
more. I would be
Yeah.
way more impressed with Twitch, like trying to find ways of like trying to involve more impaired,
Like uplift that community.
yeah, into that community. Try to involve them,
Yeah, what have they done
improving
for
their
people of color and
technology to like make them more inclusive and be able to more readily use their platform. That would be way more impressive than saying, "Oh, we support the visually impaired, so you guys can't say blind playthrough because that seems like it might be offensive." But like,
Moving to the next thing,
then
real
move on to
quick,
the next one.
because
All right,
we're running a little long. I want to
yeah,
get to these topics. So,
all
speaking
right.
of like inclusivity and making changes, let's talk about Elliot Page.
Elliot Page. All right.
Elliot
Okay.
So
Page.
for what?
Not to be confused with Elliot Smith.
Only you would have had that.
only you. So for those
Look
who
up
don't,
Elliot Smith.
for those who don't know, the actor Ellen Page, um, who
Interesting you said
just
actor.
well actor. I'm trying to make this work. The star of the
Yeah, you already
movie
messed up once. You can't. I mean,
star of
we
the
have to
movie
scrap the episode.
star of the movie Juno,
Yeah,
Umbrella
he was in.
Academy,
Uh huh.
uh, what else? A bunch of
He was
other
in
films. The
Inception.
Babies
Inception.
just want to be born.
Yeah. So,
Fingernails. Fingernails. Sorry.
is that a Juno reference? I
It
can't
is.
remember the last time I seen Juno.
Yeah, I don't
It's been a
remember that.
while. But Ellen Ellen Page has come out as transgender and is now um, identifies as Elliot Page. Um,
When did this drop? Was this like this weekend? Or?
within the last like week or so, week and a half maybe.
I think it was on. Yeah, I think it was on Saturday. Saturday
Yeah.
or Friday night.
So, first of all, congratulations to him
Oh.
for finding his truth. Um, good for him. I think one thing I thought was interesting. I was talking to the lady about this, and I was like, when you transition, is it like, do you like, is it custom for people to like find a name that's like very similar or starting with the same letter as their previous name?
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, oh, but Caitlyn Jenner, and I was like, no, that doesn't. That's not the issue.
But I do.
I knew somebody.
I
knew somebody who was similar. Going from.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like
I think
historically that's like a thing. Like it's just probably like an easier.
Yeah.
Switch.
Or is it? Or do you just like? Is that? I'm just curious if that's like something. Is it like? Do you go for one that's similar that you like, or do you just like pick whatever you pick? You choose a new name.
No, if there. I don't. I would imagine there's no rule.
Yeah,
I would imagine that people just want to.
Yeah, whatever like fits them, they feel like so like
whatever floats your boat.
He's an Elliot.
Maybe they like their male name and they just really want a more female sounding name and they switch it to something similar or completely different. You know, they go from Heather to Nathaniel. Like,
but yeah. So, but the thing about this in relation to this, the whole toxic progressivism, is that a YouTuber I noticed had made a video describing in the title of the video saying that Ellen Page is now transitioned to Elliot Page. And this person who would generally consider themselves, I guess, a liberal, a social justice advocate, received tons of backlash because nowadays that term is even mentioning Ellen Page is a term called dead naming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is basically a nowadays regarded as a slur of the trans community because often people who don't accept
the term dead naming.
It's called the term is dead naming. Yeah.
No, but the term is considered a slur, or that the use of their former name.
Yeah.
Is like a slur.
Oh, sorry. Dead naming is a slur.
So calling Elliot Page Ellen Page would be a dead naming.
Would be dead naming, yeah, because Ellen Page doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. They are Elliot Page because often
is that like by accident.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. It's called dead naming because my understanding is that people who are transphobic or don't accept transgenderism as a true and valid social thing,
not even social. I just say human.
Well, human product will often still refer to the person by their previous name or their previous name as a way of showing a lack of acceptance and bullying tactic.
I see that.
Yeah. So, but like the point about this is that the guy who made the video about it was receiving backlash just for including Ellen Page in the title of a video, or
Right.
even though he goes on throughout the video, like basically just describing Elliot's transition and like showing his support and all that. And I think that's and he ended up basically saying I quit being an advocate for um transgender equality. Not that I'm against it, but I'm no longer going to be a vocal public advocate for it because of the mistreatment. And I thought that was interesting.
Okay, two things, two real quick reactions. One, I'm a reaction YouTuber now. I'm gonna react quickly with no knowledge, with no foresight. What about foresight? Can I say foresight? That's another topic. Let's move on.
Nah, that's not the same.
Okay, so we just can't talk about seeing. First thing, that particular YouTuber.
Words are important.
Okay, that particular YouTuber. My understanding of the role that they're probably playing is they're reporting, they're giving information.
Yeah.
So how could, because even, all right, so perfect example, you wrote Elliot Page in our chat, assuming you didn't want to use the previous name, and you didn't give context, and I had no idea who you were talking about. I was like, who's Elliot Page? I don't know who Elliot Page is. So if
I thought it was Elliot Smith for a second. I thought it was a mistake.
No. Again, only you. So if you're providing information and that's your platform, that's what you do with your platform, and you provide news or whatever, you have to give that context. I don't think there's any malicious intent
in that. They went after him just for mentioning the name in the title.
Nah.
Wait, hold on. So that's my second thing, right? If this is the internet, right? I would be curious to know if his like core fans were really like the ones that are like canceling him essentially, or if it's like internet trolls who found someone to really target and go after, because that's what it feels like to me. And then the last thing I'll say, and then you guys can say, is that if this is what it took for him to be like, I'm no longer going to be a vocal ally, I don't think he was that strong of an ally. And I don't know this person. I don't even know who you're talking about. But like, that doesn't stop. I don't think that should be what stops you. Like, that seems a little disingenuous to me. If it's like, oh, well, they're giving me a hard time on the internet, and so I'm not going to be vocally like a vocal advocate for this thing that I supposedly said I felt really strongly about. That to me is kind of soft. That's my thoughts.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I think that I agree with Kavan that like if that's like deterring you, then like really were you an ally? And I think like the whole cancel idea like it can be anybody, like if they, like you said, like if he's just explaining the story, like Ellen Page has come out and said that she is transgender and is now Elliot Page, like saying Ellen Page, like that's not a reason.
It's not malicious.
That's not malicious. That's just explaining, like you said, the facts. Like,
but that honestly, like from I've seen some things, and it's genuine. That like it's not just
on deep YouTube, dark.
Yeah, I'm on deep YouTube, and
I think some people they're just deep on too much.
And deep on Twitter, despite not having a Twitter, and it's that's the way it is. They really do. Like
bots are real though.
They really
like
attack him
out there.
They really attack. They really attack him and label him as transphobic and for even mentioning like honestly, I wouldn't.
It's like you said, it's contextual.
But Mike, we would all get
because we said the name.
Be getting criticized by continuing to use that name, by continuing to use Elliot Page's previous name and referring to him as
I don't truly believe that
right.
Elliot Page would have an issue with us explaining it the way that we have.
That's the thing though. Like I'm not sure how the actual person feels about it, but people who would like to speak as allies and advocates on behalf of transgender individuals or the community, which is often the
Oh,
case, is that they take on the offense for them.
yeah,
Right.
well,
And like,
that's
that's
misguided offense. They should be concerned with people, transgender people, involved in sex trades. They should be
Right.
more involved with
Being
transgender
overly
people getting
policed.
getting
their
killed
their
because they
homelessness,
want
lack of
like
jobs, being attacked, hate crimes,
attacking somebody for mistakenly publicly saying the person's previous name. I like you
but
gotta
like maliciously doing
make
that
your
even.
yeah.
But like that's the thing, like, but you see, but complaining and criticizing someone online is the easiest way of like appearing to be and like
Well, maybe we need to
progressive on it, and but yet not really doing anything to change the
maybe we need to
actual cultural thing.
depowerize the people that are just doing that then
But it's
because
the
Let's
public though.
defund the internet.
yeah,
Let's
let's defund
defund the internet.
defund the
Okay.
cancelers.
All right. So one last thing. All right. One last thing on this. We'll get so Cardi B recently referred to herself as the R word on Twitter, and people were saying that
Related to mental health.
yes, she referred to herself as
There's
the
another
R
R
word.
word that I don't know.
I
Some
don't
people might not realize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
yeah,
didn't realize right
they
away.
might not know what the R word is.
The context.
Yes.
Right.
So and people criticized
Could
her.
be a rat fuck.
Yeah, that's possible.
Bastard.
I use that way more.
Well,
Sorry.
you see, bastard maybe is an offensive term
yeah.
to
Listen, if
single
bastard
parent
gets on the
households.
list, I don't. What am I supposed to call people?
You see, yeah. So
What is he supposed to say when he greets the employees at his local bakery?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bastard. Oh shit.
When like I'm sorry. Like, do you have both parents at your household? Have they been in your life this whole time?
Were you raised by one parent? Jesus.
Were you raised by a single mother? So she referred to herself as and the R word, and people were calling her out because the R word is offensive and insulting to mentally challenged, disabled, impaired
It's just
individuals.
extra offensive coming out of her mouth.
So
That's offensive, Michael.
I'm wondering.
Stop.
Obviously, we don't have. I would say we don't have significant mental impairments among the three of us. But we're going to comment anyway because
I
why
don't know
not?
if you saw my SAT scores, but
To each his own, right? So, how do we feel about like that word being called out against being used, even in the context of about yourself, and
Never.
even being
don't
used?
use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
Don't use it.
It's just.
I mean, it's just not necessary.
It's
just
not
not
even,
necessary.
It's
Like,
not
we
even
will
a
fall
blind
as human
argument.
beings. Right. Yeah.
But you see, this is a different context. This is a different situation, and like related to the
there
blind
are
thing.
Also, wait a minute. Didn't I call you out for that recently? I called someone
Just-
out for that recently.
just
at your
now,
birthday?
right?
No. Not for the R word. I called someone out for the R word recently.
I don't
Not that I
know if it
remember.
was. I don't regularly.
I'm
use
not
that
trying to like
word,
put
so
you
I
on
don't
the
think
spot
it-
or anything like that.
Nah, I
But
don't
I
think it
called
was
someone
me.
out for that recently.
Maybe, but like, so I'm like I said, like back to the like when I mentioned the N word thing. Like I found it interesting. I find it interesting that like so the context is black people can use it because we've been the victims of the slur, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, like, I kind of feel like it's not the craziest. I get the whole idea of like the words crazy, insane,
That's gaslighting.
more no moron
Gas
being
lamping.
being possibly like being offensive in context is like related to describing like maybe may even be gaslighting as like dismissive and offensive terms to the mentally challenged impaired community. I think
Right.
I think the term they use is neuro atypical, atypical, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like my question is like, how does it like is it still offensive to be used if you're using it in the context of referring to yourself?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
You don't get that right just because it's
I mean,
yourself.
like if
Hmm.
you're not medically, or I don't know, is that even
So wait,
like so like
so we're
if it's a mentally disabled person saying it, I guess like by just the rules that we
that's
created
so
in
weird though,
society,
right?
that like
That's
it's
so.
no, but it's not weird though
So
because
wait,
like
you don't think so?
because
So
like no wait hold on. Because like gay men that call
yeah, they
themselves the F
the
word, like
F.
they say like we're
Yeah,
allowed to use that. So like
I
I
think
mean
I think all these are interesting like caveats and like exceptions to the rules that we're
yeah,
creating
but like
about
how
culture.
often do you see like disabled people like yeah I'm a R word? Like you don't see
I don't
that. It's not like that's
I
like
don't interact with many, so I don't know.
I
But
mean
like
I guess that's true, but I
I just
highly
find
doubt
it I just find it interesting that you're saying that like someone who's like I don't know heavy or like deep into on the like the autism spectrum could
uh,
use the word as referring to themselves
I've
or
never heard that before.
calling another autistic person the R word. But you're
I'm
saying
not
that
saying that they do it, but
I
like
don't I
if
don't know.
anyone could, if anyone should be doing it, it's only them. Like just give
Okay,
them that. Just give them
okay,
that.
okay. Maybe that circumstance. So that's not what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that like, oh man, you won't let me use the R word. I just
Right.
found it interesting in this situation because she was referring to herself as opposed to like um
He wasn't
calling
being malicious, but
yeah
It's not.
but
It's
I would it is a malicious in a way because like what's that white celebrity that was on the phone and he didn't use nigger in like
Mel
towards
Gibson
black people. Yeah, I think it was Mel Gibson. He was like he
or David
used
Hasselhoff, one of
he
those.
called a white woman a nigger.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I think
he
I
wasn't even being like racist particularly.
nah, but it is racist because he's
I mean, yeah,
using it.
obviously it's racist, but like even though the intention is not like it's not anti-black, really, if you're talking about a woman,
he was
a white
talking
woman,
to a donkey.
okay, let me get back from the Mel Gibson because that's like what I'm saying is the history of the word matters, right? So
Yeah.
using that word lightly and taking the importance and the history out of the word to make it like a lighter thing is what makes it offensive. The same way we say, you know, uh, the N word, the F word, all those
But
words
that's
like
exactly what we've
historically.
done with the N word though and the F word.
But it's for us. Like we can do it. But like
And
but if you don't
so
fall into that category,
I guess
then
I guess
that's not for you.
I think context is important here. I
Yeah.
may be wrong, but context is
it's
important.
always is. But
Black people can decide that they want to use the N word, right? Like they can use it. They can decide they don't want to use it, but you understand the usage and why other people can't use it, the history behind it. The R word for mentally impaired people, or that was a guy like that one. What was it psychologically? What was that one?
neurological
Neurologically
atypical.
atypical. Those people, they don't necessarily have the capacity to make those choices about words. And
That's
I don't even know
ableist.
I don't even know if that's true. I
That's
just think
ableist. I'm sure in some cases they may
some
not be
cases
able
they
to,
do, not all of them.
but
They
I
don't
would
know
say
and
in
understand it.
yeah.
And the fact that we're debating, okay, well, should the people that it's about be able to use the word? Like they don't have a place in that argument, so it's like
oh,
you can't even debate it.
I'm not even trying to debate like if they can. I'm just debating like the phenomena that exists that like
Of using it
this
on yourself.
of like slurs that like were used upon a
Right.
certain community
Well, all I have to
being
say is Cardi B is very immature and
she has her moments, yeah. But like
she is
I
just
definitely think she like I
not
think she
well
generally has
constructed.
she's
Well, she is well constructed,
she's
but
constructed very
not
well.
not with the words that come out of her mouth.
She's she's definitely very unpolished. But like yeah.
Mm.
Um but yeah, I just think
She
normal I just
is jaded.
as opposed to blind. But yeah. So we'll leave it at
Yeah, we'll
that.
leave it there. Yeah. Next thing we got like maybe around 10 minutes. like whatever.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me.
What we want to go into Hollywood, HBO stuff, or
whatever.
Give me my TV. Give it to me.
Yeah. All right. So what is it? So there's a.
Oh no. Let's do COVID movies.
Okay.
Let's do COVID movies.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So I want to do that one. So I saw a trailer recently. I forget the name of the movie. If you guys remember, you can shout it out. But it's a movie based on no. It's a movie based on the COVID pandemic set in the near future. Let's say where instead of COVID-19, I think it's COVID-23. So the virus has evolved into like a much more aggressive killer. It's like killing millions all over the world. It's like post-apocalyptic almost in a sense. Like it feels like I've only seen the trailer. It feels like a zombie movie. What?
Will Smith-esque.
You're saying
I'm
I
Legend.
Am Legend. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So it has that kind of feel, like post-apocalyptic zombie feel. I don't know if they show the effect of COVID on people, but what they really stress is like the importance of the quarantine experience and like people staying away from each other and like that whole lockdown thing. And my question to the guys was kind of like, is it too soon? Like, is it insensitive to have these types of movies? Because I'm sure in the next couple years, like we're going to be seeing movies with people wearing masks. We're going to be seeing movies where they directly address COVID. It's like when all the 9/11 movies came out after 9/11.
Cell phones came out.
Like people, I mean, obviously there's going to be a market for it because I'm sure people, even if they hate the idea, they're going to see it just so they can hate it. But like, is it insensitive to like, in a way, make light of the situation or turn into entertainment? Or is it just like, our responsibility to kind of document and reflect on these things? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on those types of movies coming out?
I'll go first. Sorry. I don't think it's too soon. I think that movies are just another media and an artistic form of expression. I think there's some that are like it's cheap and you got to question like, is this really like what people need, or is this just like a cheap form, popcorn, entertainment kind of thing? But I think that real movies are the same as good journalism, good artwork. They're the same. It's the same thing. It's just a different medium for people to express themselves, for people to learn and feel real things. And I don't think I remember going back to like 9/11. I remember early seeing Fahrenheit. No, it wasn't Fahrenheit something. It was like, I forget what it was. It was like a Nick Cage movie with about 9/11. It came out right after.
Yeah.
And like looking back, like was it too soon? I don't know. Like it was a tragedy that we all experienced, and like you want art is supposed to it's supposed to make us feel good. It's supposed to like be able something that we can relate to, and if a movie is done right, if it's done respectfully, if it's done intentionally, no, I don't think it's too soon. I think it's a movie, it's art. Like it's supposed to help us through things, and some things people might not agree with, but I if it's not cheap, it's definitely, I think it's worth it.
I would say I agree. Like you said, it's all once again. I think the story of our lives are going to be like context and nuance. So like I think yeah,
no
I think
nuance, November.
no nuance November.
December now.
December now though.
I was like, so this is the month of being stupid? Like I don't understand what this is about.
Go back to the mall, please.
Sorry. But yeah, so like like how it's made, like what the film is actually saying, and like how it's marketed, and also timing matters. I think if you have any kind of respect for like what you're covering and like the significance of what's happening, you would allow for a period of
election.
Yeah, just a grace period before like making these kind of films,
but it also depends on like what's your intention of this movie. Like if you're trying to make some like action adventure post-apocalyptic movie related to COVID, I think that's one thing. If you're making a movie kind of trying to like make a personal film related to like the devastation of COVID to kind of like connect to people and like I don't know, get their like inform them and like get them more informed somehow and like
Right.
make maybe the invoke some type of empathy and sympathy toward the public where like we still have a lot of people on board with like taking precautions, but there's still others who aren't. And if you're trying to do that and outreach and like kind of advocate for like more understanding and more consideration of your fellow person, your fellow American, fellow citizen, fellow human being, then like I feel like it has there is a place for that, right?
Right. I mean, I hear you guys for sure. Like, especially it's art and it's almost like journalism, and that I would say applies to the type of movies you guys talking about, where it's well intentioned and it's well done, and it has a specific focus of like bringing people together and say, hey, we all went through this experience. But like the specific movie that I showed you guys, and again, it's just a trailer. We don't know what the whole story is.
He's like, if you read what I had sent you.
No, I'm not even saying that like that. I'm just saying, like, in that specific trailer, Songbird, like I said, it feels like a zombie post-apocalyptic type action movie. And maybe this is just genius marketing, and that's not what the movie's about. But I know for a fact that like movies like that are going to come out where it is like a World War Z type, people turn into zombies after catching COVID. Like I've seen on Instagram a guy that I follow who made like that type of, super low budget, nothing like crazy, but like, a zombie movie set in current day because people got COVID and like turned into zombies and like that type of thing. And especially during that time, it's like, like there's real people dying
Just
from
marketing
this.
off of it.
And it's like obviously like the environment and the time that we're in, like it makes sense story wise. But it's like if someone is gonna see that,
but you could question
this guy doesn't
it
have
though.
any. Yeah, I mean, this guy doesn't have any
I just mean like
responsibility to anyone. I don't think he does. But I'm just saying, like, you got to think about it. Like, I don't know if I would do it.
And like, and also we have and like obviously, and the public has a choice whether or not we want to see it. So like, you can make as like despicable a film as you want. We don't like people don't have to fund it. People don't have to, and people don't have to like host it, and people don't have to watch it. And I think, but I do think if you're making like a zombie related COVID movie, that's trash and like distasteful because like we've talked a lot about on this podcast about like alienation and things like that. I feel like making a film where COVID survivors turn into zombies is kind of making is for one making light of people who lived through and survived COVID, people who've died from COVID, and it's also like targeting them almost to an extent, like like these people who caught COVID could turn into zombies, or like just ostracizing them, like and like demeaning them in their experience in that extent. So
I think it's all in the art. I think you could make a movie, a zombie flick about COVID that totally is acceptable. I think it could be like an idea that like you could be like, oh, you get COVID or you become a zombie, and it's say the zombies are really a symbol for the people that don't take don't take social distancing seriously, or the people who met during holidays still, it could be like an art form still, even if you're using zombies.
Sure.
I think what you're saying is like, it has to be intentional. It has to be like, it's not necessarily the details of the zombie thing but it's like what's the meaning behind it, like Like I think of like Under the Skin or something, like where it's like, okay, this is a movie about an alien woman, like okay, but it's really about like humanism and like our fears and our weaknesses and like stuff like that. I think it could be, but I agree completely with you guys that like if it's like a popcorn flick about stay away from the China virus, like like it's not that's not good.
Doing anything for anyone. Yeah,
that's terrible.
And just like the last thing on that is that like these movies have existed for like decades. Like there are plenty of like virus zombie movies that made. So like they were made before COVID. Like you don't necessarily have to like
which is why it's almost more important now when you make a virus film to be intentional, because before it was like, well, this is like this fictional realm, where we never, well, I mean we had, but like it was in the early 1900s where that wasn't necessarily
nobody's alive
in the film.
Nobody, that wasn't a reality for anyone who's living today or the culture at large.
That's a good point though.
But related to the I guess film, there's a major beef between Warner Brothers and HBO, and the movie theater industry, particularly AMC.
Yeah,
right? Is that like Pepsi Max?
No, HBO.
You guys remember Pepsi Max?
I was never
what was
Pepsi guy.
Max?
It was like Diet Pepsi, but
maximum with none of the sugar.
Something like that. I think it might have been. Yeah, I think that might have been what it was. But so long story short,
sexy Pepsi. Sorry.
HBO and HBO Max have decided. Well, Warner Brothers, HBO Max have decided that all their movies that they were planning, all the Warner Brothers movies they were planning to release, for 2021, I believe. We're going to be used through streaming service. We're going to be released through.
They will release on the streaming service the day that it's coming out in theaters.
Yes. Oh snap!
Okay. Oh, that's what it is. It's not just on the streaming service.
So the original agreement was that what they've been doing is like you'll do a window of time that you're dedicated purely to the theaters, and this is how the theaters make money. Because they said, okay, we exclusively will have this movie for whatever, 30 days, 3 months, whatever their agreement is. And, you have those windows that, okay, this movie is going to do it for this amount of time and everybody is in agreement. And then kind of like the Mulan thing, right? It was on Disney Plus for however much time and then goes to streaming. Now, HBO Max is like, fuck all that. We're going straight to your living room. and you have the option. You can still see it. Like Wonder Woman will still be in theaters.
Yeah, but it's also
on Christmas Day. But it'll also be on HBO Max.
Only
which is a game changer.
Kansas, Florida,
like,
North Dakota.
I think you can go to Jersey. Like for us, like we can go to Jersey. I think Connecticut, but like nowhere in New York is open right now. I think New York theaters aren't projected to open until early, first quarter of next year.
Now we're talking about years and quarters. Like, when did we ever do that? Thanks, Dr. Fauci.
But I think this is huge. And we've talked about movies and things like that on here. For me personally, I still want to see movies in theaters. I don't have to. I shouldn't say that's irresponsible. But I thoroughly enjoy watching movies in theaters. I feel like I can do it in a safe way. And although obviously it's taking a risk, it's not something I'm going to be doing like every weekend. It's like for events, like a big movie that I really wanted to see, I can watch it at home and that'll probably be the safest option for sure.
Yeah, but it's not the same experience.
It's not the same experience. And I'm one of those people that is like, if I have a vice, like it's watching movies in theaters, like when they just came out and it's like big, like I need that. Like,
and that just says something about your character because that's not a vice.
Yeah,
that is a life pleasure.
But like it just brings me so much joy that like being in a theater I really want to.
But unless you like enforce mask wearing the entire time, unless you cut tickets by like 2/3 or like whatever it is, like to be physically safe, like there's no in New York City, there's no way to do that.
Oh yeah, I would never go see it. Like, no, I'm not seeing movies in New York. I mean, you guys
maybe like private screenings. Yeah,
which that's an option too, though. So like, that's something that I was considering with like some work friends. Also, like, you can rent out a theater, up to 20 people. I think, depending on the size of the theater. Like Wonder Woman, for example, you can rent out a theater for $300 to watch Wonder Woman with you and 19 other people, and if it's all people that are within, you know, kind of your bubble or whatever you want to call that, that's probably a pretty safe option as well. And
but they still,
I mean, safer than just going in with strangers.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But like study that you could get COVID indoors from 21 feet away. So,
I mean, yeah, but you can get COVID like walking to the dentist. Like you still
but you don't have to go to the movies. You can go to the.
Well, you have to go to the
dentist. Well, you don't. I mean, I haven't been there in 10 years.
I mean, I guess another part of it is that like we're like they're already like they're talking about like not gathering for the holidays. So like they're already like this saying that like
large groups are
not preferable. So like I don't even know if that situation would even be like the best way to go about it. Funny enough, like on YouTube, one of our old teachers shared this like video. I still don't know if it's a real thing or not, but it's like this like hazmat suit like helmet top kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it, but it looked really like streamlined, and it looked like it could be like an effective method for like individuals to like I don't know how effective.
I just want to clarify.
Was this the guy? Was this the same guy that said the plight of black people is not worth it or something?
I would hope. What? First of all, you said YouTube. Did you mean that you saw this on Facebook?
Did I say YouTube?
Yeah, you said YouTube.
I said.
So you meant YouTube. Facebook, though.
You said blind tube.
Well, yeah. On
Facebook.
Yeah, an old professor of ours shared like this video, and it was like this. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost looked like a backpack / hazmat.
Oh, I know you're into it.
Helmet.
Backpack.
But it's like it was kind of like portable and stuff.
Does it come with a pre-meal?
Right, it's come with food in it.
Not exactly. I really would love to find it so I could show you guys. But yeah, but like
we'll post it on the Instagram.
The thing I was thinking about related to it about this decision is like, what's the effective business like? Isn't like how do we project? Because like obviously like you would do this for like projected like financial success, right? So like
what you're talking about the backpack thing?
No, the same day movie theater and
we're back to HBO. Okay, yeah.
How exactly does that like create a profit when like so like you're already paying the service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does HBO Max still offer like the same like a free like trial period?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
To my knowledge,
it does.
I think they do have I mean, when I first did it, actually, I switched my debit card and my subscription like didn't get paid, so I had to like renew my subscription. But it gave me like 7 days free again. So
interesting. Yes. So what I'm wondering is like, how exactly does like that create money for it? Like how does that create?
Well, I think the idea is that you're getting people that don't have HBO Max to subscribe
because they want to see the movie.
And you're going to capture it. And then if you tell them all of our movies, they might be like, well, this is worth it because I mean, I would imagine that their plan is to get people to subscribe and say, hey, I like this option. I'm going to keep this and move forward.
Yeah. So like come for Wonder Woman and then stay for
come for the
rest of our okay.
Come for Wonder Woman and stay for the COVID.
But also, just like, I mean, kind of to what Mike's point, like, it's also the safe option, right? Like you're saying people really want to see these movies and movies are getting pushed back and people that have been waiting a really long time to see these movies, people that, I mean, don't get me wrong, like there are movies
filming them.
People that are working and, want to get paid because people get paid from all these things that happen. But like some people will still want to see these movies and they will want to watch it at home. So like this is a safe option for millions of people to still see these movies. And yes, HBO is going to make money from having more. Their subscriptions will most likely go up, but then it's also actually a safer option than putting it out in theaters and like people trying to either have to drive long distances or people trying to get into theaters and risk getting contaminated or contracting the virus. Exposed. Yeah, so I think it's actually smart. It sucks for the theaters, obviously, because the theaters are essentially going out of business. I read somewhere before, like if the theaters don't get like more movies coming in by like again the first quarter of next year, they will likely like go bankrupt. Like they just can't stay open without these movies. So if people aren't going to theaters, it kind of puts them in a horrible situation.
Another thing I saw was like the mention of like drive-ins, which would be interesting.
Oh, they have a couple of drive-ins near me, yeah.
But then you're like, but also that's not like an effective way because you're alienating like.
That's forest.
Huh?
That's forest.
Yeah, that's forest.
Forest. That's travelist.
That's travelist.
That's you're alienating.
That's not to make light of any. I'm just joking.
Yeah, that's probably just as offensive.
You're right.
Yeah,
that's not making light of anyone else's struggle.
But like, it's probably like alienating people who.
That's
like,
technologist. You got an Apple.
If you're in like a what's it called? Like a big urban center where like public transportation is readily available and you don't need access or have access to a car.
Yeah.
And like it's probably not going to be as beneficial as like maybe a more rural area where you start building drive-in theaters.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an option. I think I don't like that. That's not really an equivalent thing for me. Like the sound is going to be different because you're hearing it from inside your car. It's just being projecting into an open space instead of like a designed sound, system. So that's not really. It's just not like interesting to me, but I get it. It's safer. I love all of that. Any alternative you can give me, I think is great. I think it's great what HBO is doing because it's really like the safer option and it's getting the content out to people. Yeah. And I think that's what they're supposed to do. That's what their job is, to get people to see these movies.
Right now.
If anything, it'll just cause people to invest in like bigger TVs.
Yeah.
And bigger TVs and sound systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what the
get a Sony, you get a free HBO Max.
Okay, you need to cut that Sony because like we're not doing any free promo out here, okay?
Yeah, they got TV.
Did I say Sony? I said Sony.
They have to sponsor us for us to start recommending their TV. But that could work if they invest in like a brand of TV associated with like.
Isn't that like insider trading?
No, if you like if you have a partnership with like a streaming service and you like offer like I don't know a year's
like a discount up. Oh wait, say what you're saying.
Like if you run a sex shop and you pair up with a lube company.
like if you invested in like big TVs and like you offer and like it offered like I don't know like a year subscription to like the big movie hosting streaming services with the purchase of a like I don't know of a like a 60-inch TV or something like that.
Right.
And you're saying like try to maybe that's the direction I have to go. They definitely won't make as much money for sure, but like
something.
But like I don't know. It sucks. It's a shame that like things have changed so much and like
things done change.
Maybe we wrap up on that note.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Poorly made.
All right. That's it.